And joining us now is Wisconsin Court of Appeals Judge Pedro Colon. Judge Colon, thank you for joining us. We heard a little from Border Czar Tom Homan earlier this morning. He was also asked about this judge arrested there in Wisconsin. Let's listen to that.
ICE has been clear we're targeting public safety threats and national security threats. I can't believe there's any elected official, and especially a judge, that doesn't believe we should be doing that, and they should be helping us. But I said from day one, you can sit aside and watch, you can argue against us all you want and protest all you want, but when you cross that line, I've said this 1,000 times, when you cross that line to impediment or knowingly harboring, concealing an illegal alien from ICE, you will be prosecuted.
Judge Colon, how do you see this move by the administration to now prosecute a fellow judge, a colleague of yours there in Wisconsin?
Well, it turned out to be a spectacle, really. The reality is 80–90% of criminal cases, all cases in the United States, are resolved in local courts, in circuit courts. And so we balance a lot of things. There's a lot of defendants, there's a lot of victims, there's a lot of police, a lot of presence that we usually collectively get together to work out so that we can essentially get to peace in our communities. Really what we're doing is, number one, protecting the law, number two, and making sure everybody has equal access to the law, and secondly, we're making sure that our communities are safe. And so when you have a branch of government who comes in and essentially arrests with up to, I believe, more than 10 officers, a judge for essentially what is a nonviolent offense that's been alleged, and it's been sort of dissected by many people, and it's not believed to be a dangerous situation in any way, and this person is handcuffed out of court, you really get concerned. And it really becomes very difficult to maintain peace in our communities when people, or in this case, the federal government through ICE, comes into our courts and disrupts our proceedings.
So the Trump administration alleges that Judge Dugan helped this target of an ICE arrest leave her courtroom out of a side door. They said this is obstruction. He was ultimately arrested outside the courthouse. But based on what is in this indictment, in your view, did this judge do anything wrong?
Well, I don't want to speak to the merits of the case. That's before a judge, and a judge will decide that. Ultimately, I'm just here to tell you that Judge Dugan is an upstanding member of our community. I've worked with her for many years. She's really a fair judge. She comes to work every day on time, like we all do, to do really tough calendars, dealing with a lot of criminal behavior. And that's what all judges do across the nation. Now, you know, regarding the allegations, that's up to the court to decide whether they're valid or not. But based on my review, the fact that you arrest a judge out of court in the courthouse, it's just really symbolic of trying to send a message, I believe, to chill the courts, to actually have the courts, like you just heard Mr. Holman talk to you, succumb and give the federal government more rights as it relates to legal proceedings. And that's not going to happen in Milwaukee, and I suspect that's not going to happen in any place in Wisconsin. And I suspect circuit court judges across the nation are just going to do their work. And their work requires that everybody sort of is evenly, the cases are evenly decided, and that we measure the rights that are in front of us. People are accused of many things. People have many disputes. But when you have a federal agency wanting more access than it's due, then you have a real problem. Normally, these things get resolved. We work with the federal government at all levels. All policing units do. And really, we resolve these issues. I don't understand what it requires, this sort of offensive, power show of power and might, when the reality, we all want healthy communities and we all want safe communities.
We have seen this administration clash with the courts over a bunch of different issues, but in particular immigration, when it comes to whether some of these migrants have due process. And over the weekend, Secretary of State Marco Rubio insisted there is still due process in this country. Here's what he said.
Is everyone on U.S. soil, citizens and non-citizens, entitled to due process?
Yes, of course. But let me tell you, it looks in immigration standing, the laws are very specific. If you're in this country unlawfully, you have no right to be here and you must be removed. That's what the law says.
Judge, is that your experience right now in the court system? Are people being afforded due process across the board?
Well, there's two layers of law that are required to be sort of weighed. And what I think Mr. Holman doesn't understand is that when he walks into court, whether it's the federal government, whatever form it comes, it's just another party. It's a party. And we have to sort that out. And so the defendant has rights. The state has rights. The victim has rights. And whoever wants to be involved in a courtroom, like they sought to be in Hannah Dugan's case, Judge Dugan's case, then we have to sort that out. And we have to sort that out in a way that's fair for everyone. So we can't just allow access to any party to the courts in whichever manner they want. So to the extent that it's due process, well, the immigration laws are there and we must abide by them. But we also have a state constitution. We have a United States Constitution, and everybody has rights. We have to measure those rights. We have to work hard to do that. And that's what Judge Dugan was doing in that instance. So I don't understand the heavy-handedness of the federal government coming to arrest one of our judges.
Judge Pedro Colon, thank you very much for offering your perspective and your insights here. Appreciate your time.